This is a CZ-75. Particularly, this is a compact version. This is also kind of a fancy version. It's got nice rubber grips. It's got some fancy apex trigger, I think. This gun doesn't belong to me. You might have guessed, this gun belongs to my friend Randy Mian. Now, he came over to shoot an MP5 as part of our National Shooting Sports Month series of videos, and he brought along this gun. And I said, you know, what I said was, if you have something cool that you want to share with me, or that maybe you think I don't own or I haven't shot a lot, bring it. He brought this, and I said, awesome. You want to talk about it? He said, I'll tell you what I want to talk about. Czech guns are the best. CZ-75 is awesome. Daddy likey. And obviously you should shoot it because it's cool. So I said, all right, I can handle that, Randy, thanks. And maybe even a little more. This was one, now not the compact one, but the original CZ-75 was one of the first Wonder 9s, okay? So what's that? Double stack 9mm gun. This is a double single action gun. I'm gonna talk a little bit more about the manual of arms in a second. It's a double single action gun, and it's on the Browning design. It's a tilting barrel. Jeff Cooper himself said he thought the CZ-75 was probably the best 9mm combat defensive gun in the world. Of course, the 1975, this is an evolution of other guns from the Czech Republic. The Czech Republic had an interesting history with the Soviet Union as a Warsaw Pact country. Most of the Warsaw Pact countries all used Soviet firearms, or maybe just tweaked a little bit on the basic Soviet designs. Not the Czechs, my friend. I'm a big fan of Czech firearms. Of course, you might know I've done a lot of work with FK BRNO, located in Brno, Czech Republic. I have a great affinity for the country, the people, the food, the atmosphere, the style, all of it, but especially their firearms. And yet, I don't own a C-75. So I'm borrowing this one for National Shooting Sports Month. And again, it's the compact version with some fancy upgrades. Now, here's what I don't like about it. Two things. One, it's a hammer-fired gun. And these guns can be deceptive. A lot of people think they have a really low bore axis, but it's hard to get a low bore axis in the age of striker fired guns, because the hammer, a pivoting hammer, just requires a certain amount of vertical height over the action of the trigger to get the momentum to hit the striker or firing pin so that the gun will go bang. So you're going to inherently have extra height that you don't need in a firearms design if you go with a hammer fired gun versus a striker fired gun. The other thing about the CZs is the rails are like inside, they're like reversed of what you would normally think about when you think about the way rails work. So you can look in there, obviously the gun's clear, and you can kind of see what's going on. This has the rails coming up and over from the frame, the slide, as opposed to the slide going over the rails that are in the frame. And what that means is it's got a really short top to bottom slide. So that makes you think, oh, it's short, so the gun's short. No, it's not. The other thing it's got going is it's got one of the most comfortable grips on any handgun design ever made. That CZ deep undercut, you know, tang. It's got like a beaver tail built in there. It just sits in your hand really nice. And that might make one think, because it sits so deep in the hand, again, that the bore axis is close to the hand, but it's really not. It's way up there. So don't be deceived, even though the gun's super comfortable and the gun's super easy to shoot. Now, the thing that I really don't like about this design, I'm in single action mode. I got the safety on, right? So I've chambered around. Let's say I've chambered around. I've got safety off. When I push down on that, nothing happens. I got no button to push. I got nothing up here like on the Walther P99. I can't get this back into double action mode without like grabbing the hammer, pulling the trigger while the gun's pointed in a safe direction, and manually lowering it. I detest that about CZ designs. It just doesn't make a lot of sense to me. Why not put a decocker? Now I get why in 1975 you might not have, but these guns that are being made today, I know that the Czech engineers could do this. I'm a big fan of Czech firearms in general, and I do love this gun. I'm anxious to shoot it, but I do wish that they had done something about that, because I would like to carry this in double action mode with the safety off, right? Not have to worry about having it in single action mode with the safety on if I were going to carry it for defense. Now, the good news is I'm just shooting this on the range for fun. I'm going to put my eye protection on, get this thing loaded, and I do want to try it out first in double action mode. So I'm going to leave the safety off, pinch the hammer, keep it pointed down range, and close that down. And let's see, on this target, I'm going to shoot at that 8 of clubs, I think, is going to be my target right now with that double action trigger pull. Oh, that's a good shot. I'm going to go for it, though. I'm going to keep shooting at it. Here we go, single action mode now. Oh, yeah. What a good shooting gun. Maybe some steel, shoot at some steel. There it is, the CZ-75, one of the grandfathers of the current double stack 9mm. I especially respect their engineering and particularly firearms history. The word pistol actually comes from that region. A lot of people don't know that, so I think it's really cool that they're still making great pistols, and this one, the pistol from 1975. But this wasn't their first one. Probably the coolest one, if you go back, that I think was really innovative and interesting and still today has some interest from people and should, is the CZ-52, which shoots a really hot bottleneck, bulky gun, kind of awkward shaped, but it was ahead of its time. This gun was probably ahead of its time. Like I said, it probably could stand some modernizing, if you were gonna think about it as a carrier or duty gun. You don't see a lot of these guns in the United States in duty or carry use. Mostly it's range guys, it's competition guys, it's people who like to shoot because they are great guns to shoot. If you have a friend, like I do, Randy brought this to me, if you have a friend with a cool gun that you wanna shoot, get them to come to the range with you. Get some rounds through the gun. Maybe you can teach you something about the gun, talk about the gun. You can just say, Daddy like, and you can be impressed. And you can decide that you're going to do the talking about the gun when you get to range. But either way, the CZ-75 is a great gun, fun gun to shoot, and let National Shooting Sports Month be your motivation to try something new. Maybe it'll be something you add to your collection. You can say, oh yeah, I added that to my collection because of National Shooting Sports Month, which would be awesome. CZ-75 or something else.